to keep them safe and quiet, so it wouldn't spill out, because on Sunday there'd be people in the church and the Jewish people be underneath the pulpit.
So they're using the Nazis used the food to flush out, you know, any Jews that might be hiding, and to keep the Dutch people in line, right?
Well, that's right. And then some people, of course, they did hide some Jewish people. Like that, right down the street from us, there was one family that they were hiding some Jewish people under the steps, going up to the apartment. And Nazi soldiers came and they went up the steps. They searched the apartment, didn't find anybody. When they came back down with their heavy boots on the steps, they caused some dust to fall from underneath the steps into the hiding place underneath the steps where the Jewish family was. And a little girl sneezed, and they heard the girl sneezing. Then they found out, they lifted up the steps, and they found the Dutch Jewish family hiding there. So they took them away, and they were never seen again. Most likely they died in a concentration camp. And that's the cruelty of war. Innocent, totally innocent people were killed and taken away and cruelly treated. It's just so demonic.
Now, let me, you know, I have been accused of being anti-Semitic because I talk by organizations like the ADL and Southern Poverty Law, because I talk about what's happening in Israel right now and what's happening in this country, because we keep sliding towards, you know, a Nazi or a communistic type of tyranny here. You said you agree with that. I mean, you see the same things happening, and so when you start asking yourself who's responsible for this, you point the finger at the Muslims, and again, you're correct about that. But where did this German hatred or this German paranoia about the Jews, where did that come from? Now, I have on my website, I've got a statement by a Jewish man by the name of Dr. Benjamin Friedman, who talks about World War I and how the Germans basically had won the World War I, and then they brought the Americans in. They did the same thing in World War II. And we were allied with communist Russia, which were responsible for murdering 50 million white Christian Russians. So where did this according to Friedman, because the Zionists betrayed Germany, which is where the Rothschilds actually came from, the international banksters, as I call them. They were angry at the Jews because the Jews in America, you know, and in World War II, declared war on Germany before any hostilities ever started. So where did this hatred and where did this fear of basically it's kind of the same thing. Where did this fear of the Jews come from? Where did that stem from? It wasn't from the average Jewish person out there any more than it is the Jew next door to me here.
Well, in my opinion, it just came from Hitler, and Hitler had just this demonic drive to hate the Jewish people. And of course, it's a result of the fight between God and the devil. And God is the Israelis are God's favorite people, the apple of His eye, and then the demonically led people automatically sort of hate the Jews because it's a religious and spiritual battle. And that's where it came from. I think Hitler was just demonic in his activities and in his thinking. And,
but he was elected. He was elected, as you said, by the German people and by the Austrian people. I mean, they all supported him. So where did he? If he was so demonic, where did all the support come from? The Germans were good people. My family was from Germany. My family was German. I mean, they've been here for 100 years, so, you know, we didn't get rounded up like the Japanese, but they're. Where does this has to come from somewhere? It's not just because somebody's Jewish. It's because of the control of money. There's lending, and somebody is financing both sides of wars.
Yes, I guess there's jealousy of the Jewish people because they were successful financially, but basically I think it's just their fight against God, and so they take it out on the Jewish people. It's very, very sad, but it's true. And in my book, From Tyranny to Freedom, I introduce which is to many people a new word, and this is what I am, and it's pro-Semitic. You hear so much about anti-Semitism, but how about pro-Semitism? And I think the Jewish people have contributed a lot to the world, to society. You look at the Nobel prizes, many Jewish people have earned Nobel prizes, more than any other group. And I think we need to do some promotion of the Jewish race and Jewish people. They're God's people, and we can be grafted into the tree of Israel. But years ago, when I came to this country, I remember some countries, some people didn't like the United States. They were jealous of them. And I remember thinking, I wish that President Reagan would have taken on a Madison Avenue top-notch advertising agency and gave him some money to promote America, to promote what America does, the good things America does. And America has done many good things. This is such a wonderful country. But I don't think we have done a good enough job selling America to the rest of the world, because we're not trying to take over the whole world. We're trying to help people and use Judeo-Christian principles.
Let me. You know, you're going to find that I'm not in total agreement with you on this thing. You know, the Jewish, who you refer to as the Jewish people, came from a land called Khazaria. They're called Ashkenazi Jews by themselves, and they never came from Jerusalem. They are not necessarily God's people. They bought into this in 700 A.D. or something like that, and they chose to be. They adopted Judaism for the whole country. And those people are called Ashkenazi Jews now, and they are the ones. They became the Zionists that are in power in Jerusalem right now. I published a magazine for 15 years called The Free American, and I put 6,000 Hasidic Jews, Orthodox Jews, protesting on the streets of New York City, 10,000 of them protesting the Zionist state of Israel. And I am in all my people are you know, up to date with what Israel, the way Israel is treating Palestinians, and the Israelis, whoever they are, whoever's in power there, are treating the Palestinians worse than the Germans treated the Jews. Now, one of the things I've always said in this country, how do we fight evil? How do we oppose evil? And I agree with you, it's a battle between good and evil. But how do you oppose evil without becoming evil? And that's, to me, that's what's happened with the Zionists in Israel taking over.
I think you oppose evil by the love of God, just loving them and showing that God is love and that He created everybody equal. And I think that's the best way to fight it.
That's that you're talking about Christianity there. That's what Jesus came and taught us, you know.
Yes, sure.
Now, let me ask you this. This is, and again, this isn't me saying anything bad about the Jews, but you mentioned their success. Their success, partially based on with money, is the Federal Reserve System. The Rothschilds. You can go through history, and the Rothschilds worked for almost 150 years to get a central bank into America.
Yes.
And the media now, and this comes from Jewish sources, the media and the Jews brag about owning the media. If America is not being promoted properly, you have to point the finger at the Zionists that control the news channels and the newspapers. You know, now I do not believe and will not buy in to the whole thing. You know, the Nazi stand on the Jews. I don't think the Jews are to be eliminated.